I'd ask one question. Do you want to be an actor or do you want to be a celebrity? I can tell you that 95% want to be celebrities. Acting is hard work. Acting is a craft. It's more than just showing up and being a cute kid or have a great body. It is a wonderful profession and it's a wonderful craft. I still go to class. Hello? I still go to class every Saturday morning and I learn something new all the time. It's a master class and it's fabulous. And that's what keeps me young. That's what keeps me passionate about my work. I'm as passionate about acting today as I was when I was 18. And I'm blessed with that. I'm not jaded about it at all. A lot of young kids have attitude. That doesn't help you get anywhere.
Yeah, I wake up every morning and check it all out and say, thank you, God, for another day. And then I just keep going on. Well, we're so busy, really trying to enjoy what we do. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't really want to. And it does feel good and it does hurt. It does all of those things.
But the discipline, Cheetah, and the hours put in like nobody else in the business.
Yeah, but you're really happy with yourself when you see that it works. And when you see after so many years that you're still doing it and you're doing it, you hope and pray to God that when the time comes, when it's not as clean or the technique isn't as good, you hope that you know it before somebody else says, no more.
It's a tough proposition. I mean, I think you have to not give up, but you get turned down. You have to get used to being rejected, and that's tough. Rejection is tough, especially because actor, it's you. It's your face, your voice, your spirit, your soul that's being rejected. But if you feel inside you that thing where you believe, you have to keep working. And actually, I think you must get together with other actors and create. A bit like Edward was saying, you must create anything. A play reading, an improvisational thing. You have to keep the juices going. You have to find the resources, and you can't act on your own. So you can write on your own, and you can compose music on your own, and you can paint on your own, but you can't act on your own. I mean, you can, but it's not going to go anywhere. It's a bit of a cul-de-sac. So I think you've got to find a community of other actors and make work.
The first thing you want to do is get in a class. Find a class somewhere, and because you're going to network with the people in the class and you're going to stay sharp by doing scene work. It's really, really important to create that situation, especially when you're in a big city like LA, you go to New York, whatever, and you want to figure out how to get a foothold in the business. The way to do it is exactly what you're saying, through networking. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's the who you know kind of thing. When I got into this, no one in my family had ever been an actor or even an artist, and they were engineers and stuff like that, and I had nobody to go to figure out how to do this. But I went into a training program, I studied it in college, and through the networking of the people that I knew, ultimately ended up having the career that I've had. So I would say find a class and get in it and stick with it, and consistency is really important to keep doing scene work in the class.
Oh, you have to work at it, and I'm not very good at it. I tend to ad-lib a lot, which is why when I'm preparing for a role or something that takes place in a period, I have a tendency to research the period and the mannerisms of the speech and the words, the slang they might have used or anything like that, because I have a tendency to ad-lib quite a bit. Because it's one movie. You make 3 movies when you make a film: the one you write, the one you perform and execute, and the one that you edit. So sometimes the one you write isn't always perfect to the one that you're executing, and there's spaces that need to be filled, and those spaces need to be filled by dialogue or an action or something like that. So I have a tendency to ad-lib a lot, which is easier for me because it makes it real, because it's spontaneous, and I'm asking for a reaction from an actor I would hope is listening to me. Occasionally you have an actor who's just there to do their lines and they don't even listen to you, which means they're not even in the scene. So it's a way to test your actor also, who you're playing off of. So it's not an innate talent, it's always something you have to work at.
I've always wanted to do Shakespeare, and I thought it was optional whether I did Richard or Hamlet or Iago and Othello. I've always loved language, you see. I've always wanted to do a language play. I even found realistic plays I did, when I had enough to say, it would get my motor going. And I've always wanted to do that. I remember years ago just going over soliloquies of Hamlet and Macbeth, and just doing them in my room or anywhere I could. When I did scenes in acting class, I would usually pick scenes that were from Shakespeare. I just love the word. I've always loved it. And I've never had an opportunity to do it professionally. But language is something I always felt can be helpful. A lot of actors feel that language is something you go to. I feel language serves you as an actor, and it can. You'll find that anytime I have more than a paragraph to say, I get, whether it's right or wrong, it just sort of moves in on me. I find, interestingly enough, how little we use words today, especially on my day off when I go into New York. I meet people. The mouths are very lazy. We don't talk. And this opportunity to talk and say these things, I think is just great.
It's got to be about the writing. It really does. It's got to be about the writing. You have to be allowed to fail as an actor, because it's very easy to get taught in your performances. It's very easy to play it safe. I think it's very important as a human being, but as an actor, or I'm sure it leads into the other arts, to really take time to give yourself counsel. Like, really give yourself counsel, to not just believe what people are telling you are or what they observe to be your position.
That's the business part.
I mean, a lot of actors don't like to do that. Whoopi knows.
I do.
In Hollywood, they always say, well, I don't publicize, I don't do this. I mean, the studio should do that. They should pay for it. I don't do that. I'm the artist. I said, but I mean, no matter what you do in life, you have to go and sell it. If it is a painting that you do, if it is a sport that you do, bodybuilding, I had to sell bodybuilding. That's why we did the documentary Pumping On and all this. You got to sell. That's it, It's like Ted Turner said, early to bed, early to rise, work like hell and advertise.
You've said before that you do a lot of preparation for a role because you find acting terrifying. Do you still find it terrifying?
Oh, of course, it's utterly traumatic and it's a stupid way of earning a living. It's completely stupid, but at the same time, and it's a fantastic way of earning a living. I mean, they're paying you to pretend, but because they're paying you, you gotta be really good. And there's so much made of it. So there's a lot of pressure. You can schedule your fear a bit. There's a schedule. Oh, I like this. You schedule. So what I try and do is do so much prep that then I can sit on that prep. But it's like, the iceberg in the top bit is over the water. Yeah. Then underneath is this great big foundation. So no matter what happens, you got it. And not only that, you've walked on set and you convince yourself that you know and are justified in playing the character. And then, hopefully, you've done so much prep that you're actually relaxed.
I think especially in a creative endeavor, if you're not nervous, and nerves not like, oh my God, I shouldn't be doing this, because I'm great at what I do, trust me. And you all should feel the same way about what you do. If you don't feel the nerves that, oh, I want this to be right, and the jitters, and even right before you step on stage, that thing in the middle of your stomach, the day that you go, oh, I got this, you're done. Yeah. So you need to feel that. So I'm still feeling those nerves. I'm scared going into opening night, but that just means because I love it so much.
But that's performance anxiety, they call that.
Exactly. the actor's nightmare. Yeah. I've already thought through every permeation of everything that could possibly go wrong on that stage, and I'm trying to get it out of the way so that the show is as seamless as it can be. Things go wrong, so you have to always be ready, because if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
That's right. I love that.
Improvisation is a conversation, and in that conversation, it's for you to play. We as adults, life is tough as is. We make it harder on ourselves. So by teaching people the art of improvisation and play, I want us to put ourselves in a place where you can be lighter, where it'll help you with depression, where it'll just help you get out of bed in the morning. Do not negate. So I'll always take the yes and. That's why I say improvisation is a conversation. Any of us can have a convo. Listen. The most important thing in improvisation is listen. Don't come into it with an idea that I've got something. So I'm just waiting for you to talk, which is why improvisation also overlaps into relationships. Fellas, we have to listen. Guys, we have to listen. I'm so bad at it myself. I try to listen. You always listen and you do not negate. So always yes and.
My first play was an avant-garde play called The Master. I was still in high school.
Yeah.
I was with an avant-garde theater, a company called the Company of Man. It was a 2-character play called The Master. It was an anti-war play, anti-war meaning Vietnam. High school plays, but then my Juilliard years, and then all those years of theater. I didn't go to television until I was 42. And given how much television I've done, it's amazing that I didn't start. I didn't go to Hollywood until my 40s, which is why I always want to tell actors, young actors, this story because, I think there's such pressure now to use your youth as a commodity, and agents will tell you can't go out of. I went out of town for years. I was doing regional theater, playing great roles and having a ball. I lived paycheck to paycheck, but now I don't know if young actors would use up that decade in their 20s to largely go unseen, but to learn how to do it. But I learned how to do it by just doing it over again. But not to be discovered at age 42. Pretty unusual, but it can be done. It can be done. And then by the time I arrived, I was ready because I was a trained theater actor, so I could just do those one-liners and go home. When they're ready, you should be ready.
Yeah.
There's that line in Hamlet, the readiness is all. Yeah. And as a performer, gotta be ready. Well, that's why I think it helps to be as prepared as you possibly can be. Michael Caine says that in his book about acting. He sets up everything he might do, like I might be having coffee with you and I'm going to choose, when I'm at home, I'm going to choose the moments so that he would be as prepared as possible because you never know what will be required of you. So if you can be in command of your lines, in command of your character, even in command of your props, and you're already ahead of the game. And then if they do have to change things around, you're ready. Or if they, you're in command of your own stuff. You've done the best you can. And there'll always be variables when you're filming. I had scripts from different episodes for 2 shows. And I was like, no wonders I don't get to read novels. And, the people what are you reading? I said, I don't read, I just learn scripts. It's more challenging now. I have to work harder at lines. I cannot believe that when I was in my 20s, I could, some actors can actually learn lines in the chair and then shoot. I can't do that. But it's not just not being able to memorize. I like to live with lines for as long as possible. So I beg for scripts. If nothing else, just give me a rough draft so that I know what the scene is. What is it about? What am I in for in terms of a character? What is going to be my conflict? What should I obsess about? And then if I get a rough draft, it's fine. I won't memorize a rough draft, but just let me have it. Let me have it as soon as I can. And then if you have it and they don't change it and you get to live with it, it's rather like being in the theater where you do work on a script for 4 weeks, a week of previews, 2 weeks of preview. The theater is such a luxury because of the time you have with material, whereas the real ultimate challenge with TV is it's just a fast-moving train. You shoot a scene and chances are you're not going to do a reshoot unless there's a real problem. Yeah. So even though TV is a fast-moving train, I got used to how to do it, and because the character became more and more, integrated into who I was, and it became more like theater. Yeah. But I would go back to the theater just for the pleasure of having the process and seeing what I could come up with if I did have time, how much richer the work would be if I had time. You're not shooting, you're living it in sequence. Plus, you're living it, you're living your craft in front of a live audience, which I think is going to be more and more important in this crazy world of technology and AI and screens and all, the art of the living human being, whether it's dance, singing, opera, theater, even sports, watching human beings in the present moment, human beings witnessing other human beings, is invaluable. We have to value our human life, our human interaction. I mean, you know, there's all kinds of ways into the business. There's all kinds of ways into. I wouldn't want to tell people there's one way of acting, or you've got to do this or that. I mean, I was well trained, but I was watching Holland's interview. Yeah. She reminded me to go back to read the Stella Adler books on acting, because she was a great teacher. So I like to reread acting books about craft and just remind myself of this. You know, they said Nureyev, he was an old guy, crippled practically, but he went to the ballet bar every day and did pliés. Well, actors have to do that. We have to remind ourselves, simple, talking, listening. The basic skills still are have to remind ourselves.